Welcome back to the Wiseman Say podcast, the show where we talk all things black and gold and dive into everything surrounding the Columbus Crew. Today, we're taking a look ahead at a really interesting Eastern Conference matchup as Columbus prepares to take on Nashville SC. It's a game that could say a lot about where both teams are right now. Nashville continuing to build momentum and Columbus trying to establish themselves in what's shaping up to be a very competitive Eastern Conference. To help us get a better sense of the opposition, we're bringing in someone who covers Nashville closely. Tyler from Big TV joins the show to give us the perspective from the other side. We'll talk about Nashville's style of play, the key players Crew fans should keep an eye on, and what this matchup might look like tactically. So, if you're wondering what challenges Nashville might present and how the Crew stack up heading into this one, we've got you covered. So, let's get into it. And with that, Tyler from Big TV joins the show. Tyler, how are you?
Hey, I'm good, thank you. I'm good. We just came off the back of that Champions Cup game last night against Inter Miami, late night. Some good coverage, some pleased but not satisfied. It was how BJ Callahan put it, and he put it perfectly. That's how I was feeling. But yeah, pleased, not satisfied is how I'm feeling today.
I saw the score ended 0-0, so now heading into Miami leg 2 coming up soon. Just really quick on that part, what are you looking forward to?
I was impressed. I was impressed with the way and how competitive we were against Miami. I'm looking forward to having another go. I think they're going to have the pressure on them this time, being at home. I think the expectation is that they'll go through. I think my head says it's more than likely they will at this point. But I think we have a little bit of advantage in a way. We managed to keep them from getting any away goals. And that gives us the freedom to go to their place and perhaps grab a goal. And they have to score 2 for every one we score, basically, to make sure they go through. So I think it could be an exciting game, potentially the tie of the round, I think, next week.
Midweek matchup, and now coverage shifts to Saturday versus the Columbus Crew in Columbus, a place where it's built like a fortress, but the team has not been able to give results. Granted, last week being our first home game. But Nashville SC, still without a loss on the season. What is it going to take for Nashville to walk out of Columbus with 3 points?
I think, we had our first away game. We haven't had a bunch of away games yet, and we haven't had many away games against competition that really matters. Like, we've played the Ottawa Champions Cup game away, and we've had Dallas. Now, the Dallas game's a difficult one to judge. We were lacking Sam Surridge, and our attack really kind of fell apart in terms of we didn't have anyone to really lead the line and hold the ball up. I think our second choice striker could have done the job. And I think we probably learned a lot from that game. So for Nashville to come out of this, I think, honestly, if we can press with the intensity that we've been showing, have the transition play that we've been showing as well at times when we've been on the back foot, having watched your games, having watched and analyzed some of what you guys have been doing, how you've been playing so far, there are definitely a few spaces that I can see Nashville really exploiting. And I think it's going to be, I think the away aspect of it is the only thing I'm unsure of. In terms of the quality, how the teams are playing, I do think, not in kind of just like a biased fan kind of way, I think Nashville have clicked together a lot better than Columbus Crew have to start the season. And I think if we can continue the same kind of intensity and play that we've had so far in the games we've played, I think we should be able to win this game with a, I'm not saying we're going to have a massive scoreline like we've been having at home, these 3s and 4s, but I could see us getting a goal or 2 and maybe coming away with the win, I think. Of course, the away aspect is the thing that I'm unsure of right now.
And you mentioned Sam Surridge, and I think no matter what, he's destined for a goal or 2 every game. He's just one of those guys that's very dynamic up front, kind of hard to man mark on set pieces. What has been the key to unlocking him so far throughout this season, even though it's still a young season?
Honestly, it's everybody else. He's a poacher. He's got that instinct that every top striker has. If there's a spilt shot from the keeper, he's going to be following that up. And if there's a space to make, he'll make it in the box and he'll drag a couple of players with him and he'll make the space for everybody else. I mean, some of those goals he's had so far, one of them at the weekend was really Patrick Yazbek's goal, but he kind of knocked it in with his thigh or somewhere around that kind of area. And it's just that instinct. He just wants to be on the ball. He wants to get that touch. He wants to make sure it goes in the net. But honestly, with the way that Espinosa has been combining with them, the way that Hani's been playing and connecting, and as I say, we've had Yazbek started to bomb forward with this real intensity, some intensity that we did see last year in the Open Cup. And there were times when I was seeing that and kind of talking to other NSC fans, and they're saying, oh, I don't really know. He didn't get that kind of cheer at the start of games. But the last couple of games, he's really switched it on. He's come to the attention of everybody. And honestly, he's been a massive part of what we've been doing. I mean, that home game at the weekend against Minnesota, 1 pre-assist, 2 assists. So, I mean, everybody else is making sure that Sam Surridge does his job.
And not only Sam Surridge, but the team itself under BJ Callahan, still driving for success. Again, you guys still haven't lost a game this season. What has been the driving factor for BJ Callahan in getting his team, I want to say, up to second so far in the Eastern Conference standings?
Yeah, really, we have a style of play. We are incredibly fluid in the way that we attack. I had someone sitting next to me last night who was a friend of one of the people that watched my TikTok live streams. And he was saying, what formation did Nashville play in? I had to explain to him that Nashville don't really play in a formation. It's a good explanation to start the game. But honestly, depending on who's on the field, we're so well drilled that as soon as one player's got the ball, everyone knows exactly what they're meant to be doing, where they're dropping in. Hani knows he's dropping into the 10 as soon as we get the ball out wide and we're on the transition. He knows he's there to then make that space and ping those balls to Espinosa, Madrigal on wheel, and Sam. And our defense is so aggressive. We've got this very aggressive, modern European style defense where we're really stepping in front of players. And Maxwell Waleji has been a massive part of that. He's come in to replace Zimmerman. And I know a lot of opposition fans are saying, oh, but you haven't got Zimmerman. I mean, we've just upgraded. This guy can do everything on the ball. And honestly, he's one of our best players on the ball going forwards. He will win the ball. Opposition expect him to pass it off, lay it off, something like that. If they give him the space, he will run at you and he will get to, halfway into the opposition half and then think about whether he's going to pass it or not. And if not, keep going. And he's genuinely a great athlete, reads the game well, and he had Messi on lock last night. So he's been probably the biggest difference in terms of our defense and marshalling the defense. Him and Palacios together, similar profiles actually, both very fast. We kind of got the transition covered on counterattacks because of that. And real upgrades. They play in the way that BJ wants. I think that's the thing. We've got an identity under BJ Callahan that he knows what he wants to see. And every transfer window, we're slowly adding the pieces to make sure that can happen.
I'm looking at this article. Ben Wright, I'm sure you know who Ben is.
Yeah.
He defined Nashville's display against Minnesota relentless mentality. Would you say that's kind of the MO for this season so far?
I'd say that's when we're playing our best. I don't think we see it for 90 minutes. Mm-hmm. We do see it. And I think that's the thing. In terms of the way we started that Minnesota game, that was what made the difference. That was what made the difference in the first few minutes. And same against New England. It's exactly the same thing. It was just aggressive, fast, and the tempo. I will say Nashville probably played with the highest tempo in the league. The speed at which we pass, the speed at which we move, I think is the highest in the league. Now, that does have a cost later in the season. You see it with I described it on the Battered Herons podcast on Monday as Klopp's Liverpool. That heavy metal football, fast-paced, aggressive, the press is there. But then against Miami last night, we saw something slightly different where there was a little bit more tempo reduction, a little bit more control. But we do look our best when we're playing with a high and fast tempo, which I think is going to cause a little bit of a problem to your guys, particularly in the way that you guys press. Yeah. I see Rossi kind of having to cover left centre-back and left back. And with our left centre-back who's willing to run forward with the ball, our left back who is happy to then just to kind of move up the field and keep pressing out wide, I think the tempo of our passing then combined with that is going to make it really difficult for your kind of front guys to contribute to that kind of offensive defense type style. I think you guys might have to play slightly different, although it is a home game and everything. I think in order to kind of counteract that tempo and the way we're playing right now.
And you talked about a very high tempo. Are we talking, say for example, Sean Zawatsky, we call him the Swiss Army knife here in Columbus because he can do it all. If he's on the ball, is Nashville sending like 2-3 guys to the ball, like hard press to force a turnover, or is it more so heavy man marking when the opposition is in the attack?
Honestly, we change it between opposition and phases of play. I would say our tempo mostly comes in our attack. So when we have the ball, we're going to be fast with it. We're going to move it around quickly. We're going to get forward as fast as we can and make our triangles. We're really good at making triangles this year. Everywhere you'll see, like it may say on the team sheet that we're playing in a 4-2-3-1 or a 4-3-3 or something. But honestly, when we've moved up the field, we kind of drop into a quick back three. Our wing backs are pushed up nicely. And then suddenly we've got all these triangles with each of our DPs combined with our centre midfielders as well. And that's the thing. I think particularly I know that people have kind of criticized or mentioned that the Columbus midfield maybe gets overrun. Of course, you play in that 3-4-3 kind of shape as well, don't you? And I could see that being really difficult for you guys this weekend, because if we can get those triangles and we do have that confidence and we come with that confidence on the ball, I think that could cause a lot of difficulty for you guys.
What are some of the weaknesses that Nashville might have for Columbus to kind of, maybe attack on? I know for us, last game against Chicago, it was just so many. We had so many turnovers, and I'm surprised Chicago just could not get a ball into the net. But looking at this Nashville team, they might have some weaknesses too. So what do you think are maybe one or two that maybe Columbus can pounce on to maybe get a result against Nashville?
Our right back is always a questionable defensive position. I don't want to keep bashing him because I feel like I come on every podcast and say, oh, what's the weakness? Maybe right back. Andy Nahar is an amazing player going forward. And he showed last night that he can do the job being defensively as well, like when he's focused and switched on. It's just that it's not all the time. So I do think there's that space. But of course, you guys play with that kind of one player out wide and the second kind of 10 going out there a little bit. So he could end up being outnumbered if you guys can get enough of the ball to make us transition and sit deeper. I also do feel like, I feel like that could be. I mean, also you guys can combine your front three can combine around our defense a little bit more. I want to say more, but honestly, from what I've analyzed so far this season, I haven't seen like enough danger from you guys that I've got, that's going to be an issue. Because I see kind of like your Sporting Kansas City goals that you got come from real mistakes from the opposition. It's kind of like a little nick off the head. And those things aren't happening against Nashville right now. Like Nashville just aren't that team. And the ball isn't even getting that deep with that many players around it for that to happen. So I think, I don't want to be that guy. I hate being the fan that comes on and say, oh, we've got no weaknesses. I do think there are some weaknesses, but I feel like system-wise, I think we probably have enough strength in the right areas to match up to what you guys are offering right now. But that Andy Nahar defensively can always be an issue. And also our left back, potentially, if we play Reed Baker-Whiting, he played last night against Inter Miami. He looked really good, but he is inexperienced. He's come from Seattle Sounders. He didn't get many games there, but he's already got a few starts for us between the two competitions. But last night he was playing Messi and he's very switched on. If he goes into another league game and he's feeling a little bit overconfident, whatever, maybe there's a space in there as well. So our fullbacks are definitely a place that I would want to upgrade over time anyway. So that would probably be the place that I'd be a little bit more concerned.
Does BJ Callahan kind of, from what you see, does he take this game by game? Does he like maybe strategize teams? I know you said against, I believe it was Minnesota, it was a lot of, hard attack, pressing and whatnot. But against Miami, it was a lot more tame, a lot more calm, collected and whatnot. Does he strategize for each game, or does he prioritize maybe this tie against Miami more, given the history you guys have had with Miami in Leagues Cup, opposed to, say, Columbus, Minnesota, and whoever else Nashville's played in MLS play?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely seen I think the biggest difference was from Miami because honestly, I don't think you saw two sides that want to play in a similar way kind of cancel each other out last night. But as much as I had people on my TikTok criticizing the fact that we decided to play some more long balls last night, BJ Callahan specifically picked out Noah Allen last night as a weakness as their left back. And we were just every time Schweiker's played the ball short almost every single game this season. He's almost never kicked long. And last night, every restart he kicked long into Espinoza, who was holding the ball up and winning it over Noah Allen. And just bypassing Miami, we just said, hey, let's not bother even trying to play through these guys. Let's get it up there. Let's put them on the back foot and then try and get our shape in their half. So he's definitely very tactically aware in terms of changing things up for the right opposition. I do think we see particularly our wing backs, our full backs change how they're playing depending on who they're playing. Andy Nahar was definitely a little bit more defensively minded last night, and I could see us overlapping. I mean, that's always the classic thing. Like I coached, and you always go outside that five. You know, the back four. Yeah. The five on those back threes, because those two have to do the wing back role and they have to do the attacking role, and you've always got an overlap there that you can try and then get in behind. And we have some good crosses of the ball. So I could see him trying to exploit that, but he's, that's kind of a bit classic and basic. I'm sure he's got something even smarter up his sleeve.
I know, kind of shifting really quick, I know when Nashville released their kit, a lot of Crew fans were saying that, it's not true because, we're the original yellow team. Just what was your thought on the new kit for Nashville this season?
Yeah, I mean, I did a whole review. I went out and bought it on day one, did a whole review on my channel. You can go check out on YouTube and see exactly what I thought. But honestly, it's fine. It's not my favorite shirt in the world. I think it's a little bit overrated. There's a lot of implicit information that the marketing team are really hyped about, but the average person would just look at it and go, I got a bit of yellow in it. Is that getting a bit of orange? Yeah, a bit of orange. Yeah. What is that about? And no one asks. No one asks, oh, what does the orange bit mean? It's just like very lightly embedded in it. So, yeah, I mean, I wasn't a huge fan. I bought it anyway. I wear it anyway. It looks really good under jackets, so it's worked for these kind of early winter games. So I'm kind of happy with that. And yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
Shifting back to Nashville, when you look at this team this season, what was the biggest change to this year from maybe last year?
The aggressive style, for sure. The high tempo on the ball. The commitment, I think, has gone up a little bit. And I think there's a little bit more confidence in everybody, for sure, as well, in terms of the way they play. We're not marking Messi. I watched DC United mark Messi with 4 guys before Rodrigo de Paul smashes the ball in. And we're very confident to go, one of you make a tackle on him, we'll be fine. And I think that's really says that we're a confident team. I think in terms of the actual way we're playing, we've changed shape. We have more going on in the midfield. We have more support in there. I mean, we were playing with basically a 2 pivot and having to do absolutely everything last year because we had wingers and players around them that couldn't do more than that. They couldn't really do more than just be that wing position. We now have Wheel, who's started to really invigorate himself in this new sort of more attacking role. Of course, he's played all over the field for Nashville SC in the past, whether it's been at fullback, wherever it's been. And he's now starting to be very happy coming in as our other midfielder. He's go out to our left wing in attack. And I think we just got this fluidity about us that we haven't had before. But because all of those front 4 can basically play in each other's position, Hani can drop deep. He can go up and play as a striker. When we defend, he plays as a striker effectively. And then as soon as we transition, he drops into being this wonderful attacking midfielder who can play balls through to people and then get back on the end of it and finish it himself if he wants to. I don't think we're going to see many Hani Mukhtar goals this year because he's doing so much work in the assisting area of the field and getting shots for them people to maybe follow up and finish. But yeah, you've seen Espinoza, New England Espinoza popped up on the right. left. Sam Surridge was on the right, and suddenly Warren Madrigal's playing down the middle. And it's just the players that you wouldn't expect appear in all sorts of different places, and that makes them a little bit of a nightmare for opposition defenders, for sure.
Has Espinoza been a key pickup for you guys so far this season? Would you say that's a good signing?
I think honestly he might have done more in terms of the mentality of the team than just the actual what he's done on the field.
Mm-hmm.
He came out on the press conference after the Dallas game ahead of the Minnesota game and said, "Hey guys, I'm really sorry. It's on me that we didn't win that Dallas game. There are a number of shots I had and I should have just hit the target, or I should have not tried to cross it. I should have finished." And then he goes in the Minnesota game and scores. And I think that says to me that he's a man that's confident in his ability. But I think that brings so much to the team in terms of knowing that you've got another quality DP who can contribute and will bear that weight so early, especially at a club that he's not been a part of for very long. And I think that's changed the mentality of the team to some degree. He knows that he's here and he wants to do something. And I think that's pulling everyone up around him as well.
Where do you see Nashville fitting into the Eastern Conference so far this year? Where do you think that they'll finish? As I should say, what's the expectation? What's the realistic option?
We're a team that hasn't lost yet, and it's hard to. I think I'll know more about this team when we do lose, and that sounds like I don't want to sound like an arrogant thing to say or like a big-headed fan thing, but that's when you know what a team's going to do when they bounce back from a loss, or does it career into like 4 or 5 different losses?
Yeah.
I honestly feel like we should be right up there. I don't necessarily, I've heard a number of other fans say, we think you're going to win Supporters Shield. I don't know if we're consistent and we can shut out games enough. I think we right now are in this project and we're year 2 and we should be a good cup side. We should be able to take anyone on their day and get a win. That's where I see us, which I don't think is the quality you need to be a Supporters Shield winning team. Mm-hmm. But we do have players like Corcoran developing his ability to shut out opposition and be that kind of defensive role. Brian Acosta hasn't actually come on, which I'm surprised by, because you'd think we'd need him to see games out, and he hasn't been coming on and doing that. We've been fine with kind of Corcoran or just leaving the players in that we've got. So I could see like a second, third. That would be what I would call it right now. We haven't lost. I'm not going to say we're going to go all out and win it right now. I want to see what happens when this team loses and how they bounce back, if they bounce back. But we should be up there. This team right now, we've played teams that have played. Minnesota played Cincinnati, and Cincinnati didn't really lay a glove on them that much. So
yeah,
if you play that game and you try and balance it out with what did they look like against them, then you think we should be reasonably comfortable. But it doesn't work like that. Football doesn't work like that. It's everyone's got their own identity and they all play differently. So it's hard to judge. But I'd say we should be right up there. I'd like to be on the top half of the playoffs at least, rather than the bottom half.
Fair enough. Tyler, biggest question of the night: score prediction. It's okay because on the live show I said Nashville will win 2-0. So predict the Nashville win if you must.
Wow, I am. I'm going to go for a 2-0. That would be my score as well. We've done well in terms of our defensive role. Brian Schwacke's played well. It's honestly, he's not had to do much. And that's the biggest thing. When your keeper has not had to really make any saves, he made one save against Messi last night, and that's against Inter Miami. That was all he did all night. And that tells you how well we're doing defensively. And initially, as we started the season, I thought, I'm not sure our defense is all that. But honestly, the way that we're attacking, the way that we're happy to drop back when it transitions and do the dirty work, I know BJ Callen has this attitude of everyone attacks, everyone defends, and I really feel like we do. So I could see this being a shutout. I could also see you maybe nicking one. I never feel like an away game you're expected to have a clean sheet. But I'm going to go with a 2-0 too.
Really quick, are we expecting Joe Willis in net on Saturday? Or are we expecting the keeper from Wednesday night? Really?
Yeah, he plays. He's our new keeper. He is our keeper. He's not lost a single game for Nashville SC yet in his first 10 starts. He's drawn 2 now and won 8, and he lives on this floor in my building. So I had a little word with him yesterday before the game. He was walking back from the park with his mum. I was like, "Yeah, go on, big game tonight." And he made a big save last night, so I'm here for it. But he is our starting keeper now. He plays that way that a modern keeper does. Lots of ball at the feet, very confident with the ball at the feet. So much so that you're a little bit worried at times. You think that's a little pass, but he's great at it. Really confident, good with the ball at his feet, and that's the basis of Nashville's way of play now. It's Joe Willis is a good shot stopper, experienced player, legend of the club, but the way we need to play now and the way we want to play and develop, I think last night Shrikey went down with a slight hamstring injury. I think just hadn't been playing those long balls, and you hit it with that extra 10% in a game and just had a little tweak in the hamstring. I think he'll be fine. I think it was just a little strain, rather than anything major. And we had Corcoran taking goal kicks at one point, or him just knocking it to him and then him smashing it down the field. But I honestly feel like if we were to take him out of the team, I'd be super worried about the way we were then going to play, because he's actually become absolutely essential to that playing out of the back style, which is what has made us so difficult to defend against. We're just passing around the back so well.
It almost sounds like Patrick Schulte in his first year in Columbus under Will Fernandez. It was like he's good with the ball at his feet, but he's also very young, so getting kind of thrown to the wolves against Philadelphia in 23 and figuring out how he plays with the ball at his feet was a bit worrisome. But once he grew into it, it was one of those, oh man, this keeper is great. This keeper, obviously we won the cup in 23, but now it's just been kind of not on the ball as much as Rudstrom would like. Tyler, where can the lovely people of our show find you at for more Nashville content?
Yeah, you can come on to my YouTube channel. That's at BigTVNSC. That's the same for TikTok and Instagram, and then I'm BigTV US on X. But all roads lead back to the other platforms, so X is just a funnel, really.
All right, and that's going to do it for this episode of the Wise Men Say podcast. Big thanks to Tyler from Big TV for joining us and giving us a closer look at what to expect from Nashville ahead of their matchup with the Columbus Crew. It's always great to hear the perspective from the other side of these Eastern Conference battles that continue to shape the season. If you enjoyed the episode, make sure that you're subscribed so you don't miss future shows as we continue covering the Crew throughout Major League Soccer. You can follow the show on social media, join the conversation, and let us know your predictions for the match. We always love hearing from fellow Black and Gold supporters. For now, thanks for listening. Stay safe, stay hydrated, stay cool, hug your loved ones. Go Crew.